let's grill a steak. These just came from the refrigerator. I've got 3 1.5-inch ribeye steaks. They're going to be cold because they just came out of the refrigerator. So first things first is we're going to get ourselves a baking sheet and a rack. We're going to put that on top. And our goal for doing this is there's a lot of moisture on the steak, and we want to just kind of reduce some of that moisture. So from this point, what we're gonna do is we also want it to like come to room temperature, because when you grill a steak and it's cold, the cooking won't be as consistent. So we wanna try to get it to room temperature. And by doing that, we're gonna let it rest on the rack. Before we grill it, we wanna season our steak, right? It's gonna be delicious, it's gonna be juicy. So there's different ways of like seasoning it. A very simple way is you can just use salt and pepper, sprinkle it over, and then just let it sit while it comes to room temperature. However, I like a lot of flavor because I'm Southeast Asian, but I just love a lot of flavor. So what I'm gonna use today instead is I'm gonna use a smoky mesquite seasoning, and I'm gonna have one hand that's clean and one hand that touches the meat. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to sprinkle the seasoning all over. And then when you sprinkle the seasoning on, you don't want to rub it in. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna pat that seasoning on, okay? And you really don't need a whole lot, just an even coating is good. We're going to do the top, the side, the bottom, all around, okay? Now we're just going to let it sit on the counter and rest. And depending on how thick your steaks are or how big they are will determine how long you'll let it sit to rest. For these steak, I'll probably let it come to room temperature in about maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. During that time period, the steak is also marinating. You know, the seasoning draws out the moisture from the steaks. At the same time, it's hydrating that seasoning so that when the meat is like grilled, or even when it's sitting here, it's absorbing in that flavor. So that's what we're going for. It's just a room temperature, well-seasoned steak. And now they're ready for the grill. But before I put it on the grill, I'll spray it with some olive oil. And what that will do is it will add flavor. It'll make the skin, it'll give it a nice sear. So we'll just spray that on just real lightly. We don't need a whole lot. Our grill is hot and ready. And to make the most use out of this, what I did was I took some potatoes, I poked some holes in it, wrap it with some, rub some olive oil, and then sprinkle some salt and pepper all over it, and then wrapped it up with some foil. It's gonna cook in the same heat, so this way we're not having to use different things just to make, you know, this meal. I don't know about y'all, but I love that sizzling sound. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on this, and my husband likes his steak to be rare, if not medium rare. So I let these cook for about 5 minutes because they are thicker. Let's see how it's doing. Let's go ahead and flip it over. All right, that looks good. So you'll notice that this side is a bit more crispy than this side, and that's just because, you know, the potatoes right below it, right? So it doesn't have as much of the coal. But if the potatoes wasn't there, then it'd be all that side, and that's fine. Like, that's actually the color I want. Oh man, it smells so good. All right, so these steaks are ready. The way you'll be able to tell is when you can use a heat thermometer, but not everybody has that gadget. And so an easy way of checking it is you can just push on the meat just slightly. And so because I want these to be medium rare, you just use your palm, and so you're touching it. You want about that similar of a texture, and that's what we're looking for. All right, feels about right. At this point, when you take the meat off the grill, you do not want to cut it. That meat, it's so hot that if you cut it, the juice are going to start pouring out. And then what happens is you end up with a dry steak. So we're going to let this sit. I'm going to let this sit about probably a good 15 minutes, and I'm gonna let it cover because we want that heat to slowly release, at the same time allowing the steak to cool down but still stay warm. So a good way to do that is by covering it up with foil. And you don't need a real tight cover, just a loose cover. Wow, look at that beautiful color. Pink in the center. It's got a beautiful brown sear on the top, and it's still juicy. And at this point, we can go ahead and either serve it as it is, like a whole piece, but you know what, just for plating presentation, I'm gonna cut it up into thinner strips. And then this way, if you have like a lot of people eating and you don't have a whole lot of steak, by cutting it up, you can distribute the steak with more people. Look at that. Yum, yum, yum. Juicy, juicy steak. A hot, soft baked potato. Roasted broccoli. Looks pretty balanced to me. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. All right, here you go. Is it tender?
It's very tender. It's cooked perfectly, actually.
Is it juicy?
Mm-hmm. One of the first things that hits me is the smoke. So you can tell that this was a grilled steak.
All right, so I cooked the potato in the same grill as the steak. Is the potato tender?
Mm-hmm.
Soft?
Yeah, so it's the difference between like throwing one in a microwave oven and it just being cooked. You know, you can cook them pretty perfectly in there, but you're not going to get the same texture with the skin. You're not going to get that charcoal flavor that really takes this up another level and complements the steak and gives you a whole different experience.
All right, I'm glad you like it. Enjoy.
Thanks. The way I like it.
Destroying my art.
Yes, destroy the art.